Okay, so welcome back. It's been a minute.
It always happened the same. We talk, and then when we've been like 15 minutes talking or an hour, we realize we haven't recorded anything. So, yeah,
It's
back to
only
our routine.
technical issues. It's because we don't do it often. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning as we go.
But yeah, so let's start. If you want to start with the first question that we already discussed, basically.
Everyone missed this, but we've been talking for about a good 10 minutes and nothing's been recorded. So here we go again. Rewind. Let's do it again. And the first question was, how are we doing in prep? So I was saying that I think I'm doing okay. My drive is completely different this time round because I've been in the off season for about 14 months without any mini cuts in the meantime or anything, just steadily gaining. So mentally I'm itching for it. Like the drive is completely different. But it seems like there's always something happening, which like health wise stuff. So it's a bit of a mind fuck as well, in the sense of this prep is completely different, and we have to take away from like the scale weights and go more off the visuals and just learning as we go along with this one. That's pretty much what I said, but in a longer version earlier.
Yeah. Also, we were talking about like we're gonna be more consistent with the podcast. We were saying that it's been like over 6 months since we recorded the last one, and we kind of like set a goal that we're gonna try and film once a month, so then because it's achievable and we can work around our shifts and our life kind of schedules better if it's once a month, but at least we'll be consistent so we can get questions and more topics more often, because that's the plan. And we said unless any of us is dying, then we shouldn't cancel any day. The day that we start is the day it will be. And then, regardless, my side of prep, obviously, I wasn't planning to prep this year. I was going to take it off, but because the fit model category has come into the game, I knew I would regret if I don't try it on the year that is gonna evolve, basically, because at the moment the category is not established, and I want to be one of the athletes that help establish the category. So I know if I wait to 2026 it would be completely different. So I wanna evolve this year with this category. I was talking earlier on at the gym when someone else asked me the same question, like how prep was going. Every single prep I've done since 2019 has been different. None of my prep have been the same, despite I prep the same way. And because the last prep I've done, it was so long. I started in October 2023. I can't really not remember the beginning of it. So I remember, yeah, I remember towards the end, in where I was lean already and where my weight was coming nicely. I remember that I was stuck on 54 kilos for like weeks and weeks. And then suddenly I dropped and I didn't start dropping at all till practically the end. I remember being in Alicante on my last show, and in the last 2 days I think I dropped like kilo and a half being there. So it was like, so I think I remember that. And now that I'm not dropping weight as quick, I think it's what is making this not feeling as rewarding. Don't get me wrong, I have lost weight, but in my head I was like, oh, last prep I was losing half a kilo a week, bang on more. But I'm thinking more towards the end.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so To be honest, if I'm honest with myself, I don't know how the beginning of my last prep it was. I don't know if I got stuck or if it took me a while until, because this is my 4th week of prep, and I've lost probably like around 1.3 kg, and I'm there, but I can see like I'm fitting my prep leggings already.
Again,
So
visuals are more important than the actual scale weight.
So let's see how I come in. All I try to think is just do what you have to do, and then it will come, because it always comes.
Yeah.
It's not like it always comes. So that's what I'm a bit like. I wasn't hungry at all until probably the beginning of the week. This week I've been very hungry, because I'm already on a low calorie and quite a lot of cardio for being this early.
I'm gonna say you kind of went heading first into your
Yeah,
yeah. I think as well, because of that, you kind of expected the results to come a bit faster because of
yeah,
how harsh you started. But then again, like I said to you the other day, you was meant to have this year off, haven't you, originally? But then
yeah,
you decided to come on, and I think because your last prep was so long, you're not like recovered enough to
yeah.
actually in it.
Mentally, definitely not.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to do this new category, and I'm excited to see where I fit. And so my drive this year is completely different, because in bikini I know what I need to look, what I need to. So I'm like, but now this is a bit more blinded. Yeah, we've got the picture of Ashley 15 years ago, and I'm gonna try to look at that look as much as possible. So that's gonna be my cutoff, the way she looked back then. I'm not gonna go through the criteria, because the criteria really doesn't match the picture when you read it. So I'm gonna match the visual. Yeah, I'm gonna match the visual as much as I can, and then see from there. So I'm a bit like, it's very different this year. I don't know how I feel about it. However, the posing is coming nicely. I think I'm tailoring my routine in a way that I am actually really liking it, I have to say. So let's see how the things come along. Like, my aim is try to compete in the summer. If I think I'm not ready, I'll just carry on until I am ready.
I think that's the best way to be. Take the stress away of the deadline, so to say, because you're not in a rush. Like, yeah, you don't want a long prep, but if you've got a show in mind and then towards the show you're like, no, I need more time, it doesn't matter if you just, extend it a little bit and then go to a later show in the year, isn't it?
Right, because the only thing is the shows this year are a bit all over the country. It's not like at the same place that they used to be. So obviously, I want to do the ones that they are closer to me, because there are some shows up north around July, and for me, that's very difficult to travel up there.
Yeah,
So
but you can stay with me for a little bit.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I'm trying to do more like, and this year I'm not gonna go crazy on shows. Like last year I did a lot of federations and I did a lot of shows. And to be honest, this year I'm a bit like, I'm not interested. Maybe on prep, when I'm started coming, I go on the mat again and I stand in every single stage of the UK. But to be honest, it's not my plan. I wanna do this fit model thing, see how I go and see how I do. And then if I do well, rather than think about little shows, what I'll think is, okay, what pro qualifier is easier for me to travel to, and then save the money for that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And then if I don't do well, then think maybe I'll close the season with a bikini show as a bikini, and then have a time to think, where do I go?
Because then you'll be
Like,
able to get feedback from both categories, and then you will see what the judges want, and then which one will be not easier, but which one will be better to go for. So then
but
it's more.
also the thing is, as a bikini, I didn't have long enough to bring a very incredibly changed package. Yeah, I must have. I think I've grown my glutes because my back pose already look better. But to be close to a very competitive line, I don't think I will there just yet. I'll need longer for bikini anyway.
Yeah,
Or shall we start the topic that we said we would talk about?
I think we'll just go straight into the ICKs of the industry of bodybuilding.
Yeah, but that was actually an interesting question we got in our last podcast 6 months ago.
And we've decided that that's going to be a full episode because there's quite a few things that trigger us, isn't there?
Yeah, we like a good moan.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of things that annoy me, but I think to start it off easy, we'll go with people.
That's a very broad topic. People.
People.
No, people.
You know, like just I'm going to spin it back to the fit model division. What pisses me
Okay.
off? So when it first came out, I've not been a fan of it, and I'll put my hands to it. But it's not for the reasons that everyone else was for it. So for me, it was more because when they showed a picture, it didn't match the criteria. So in my head, and you know,
That.
I told you that straight away, and I said, like, you know, everything's all right, but then in my head, it looked like they wanted to bring out the normal gym goers onto the stage, and we've been watching shows where people who, you know, didn't quite work for it was winning a show just because of how famous on social media they were. So in my head, when the new division came out, it was more about I don't want people who just step out there just to be rewarded for fuck all. But now, watching it all back, like if they do carry on with the criteria that they actually showing, and they go for the old bikini looks, you know, great, but let the judges actually go with that criteria. So it was more of, I don't even know how to explain it. We spoke about it before. It was nothing against the athletes going for the fit model. It was more so the judges don't reward the wrong people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I wanna, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like you still want it to be like bodybuilding, yeah? So, like, even for fit models, you still need to work your fucking ass off. You're just coming in not as lean as the pros in bikinis because they're actually like massive and lean as fuck. So, and not everyone wants to look like that. So that's fine, but it's just like I don't know how to say it. But people are still like even after the first show came out now, people are still shitting on it. And then next thing you know, they're announcing that they're going to be doing that division. And it's like, don't tell someone that, you know, that's a step down or you're worse than bikini because you're going into fit model and then announce that, oh, actually, I fit better in fit model, so let me do it. Wasn't you shitting on it like 2 weeks ago?
Do you know what happened? Talking about people, and I've said it before, people in the fitness industry is very hypocritic, very.
Mm.
And it's a lot of people that listen something somewhere, they swallow it, and then they throwing it up somewhere else. So the thing is, also, people like to talk without think, and then when they think about it and they think, oh, this might benefit me, then suddenly it's the best thing in the world. So that is something like I was talking to Simon, like the person that they put on as as the example, we mustn't forget is a former Olympian winner.
Exactly. So that I was like, yeah, because I watched when I listened to it, I was like, what the fuck is he on about? No glutes, no glute ham ties, no shoulders, no abs, no nothing. And then you see her picture, and she's got abs showing, and she's got that slight definition, and she's got the glutes. So it's like you're contradicting what you're saying versus what you're showing.
It's not kind of contradiction, because I heard that video several times, and every time I listen to it, I find something new. He's not saying that we don't have to be conditioned. What he actually said is you have to be a slightly less conditioned than a pro bikini athlete.
Yeah. But you see, that's because you examined that video. You listened to it, and you kind of you understood it more.
And then what he's saying is very clear. He's not saying you don't have to have glutes. He's saying he wants firm glute. What they don't want is to see the tear.
Yeah.
Mark as bikini is. So also, if you think about the posing of fit model, the posing is on relax.
Yeah.
The posing is completely on relax. And to be able to show shoulders on relax, you fucking have to have muscle.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you won't show it on relax. The only thing that they said about the shoulders is you don't need to have cup shoulders. Because normally the people who come with cup shoulders, let's be honest, are enhanced. That cupping thing normally comes with enhancement. If not, it's just round. But to be able to show your shoulder on relax, you need to have the muscle in. Otherwise, you will just have a skinny arm.
Exactly.
So, you know, talking about people, that is what annoys me, you know. As soon as that category came in, I was like, I'm doing this. I didn't even hesitate, because I think when I saw the picture, I saw how bikini used to be 15 years ago. And
I'm sure on one of your shows last year, you were saying that you want where's the bikini that you used to be.
I did say that before this category came in. I said to you, I wish bikini was brought back, and then suddenly
back in
my
May,
wish
wasn't
was true.
Exactly.
Literally, it's like I do the genie with the lamp, and I shake it, and I said, "Oh, please, back," and it did. So because it was a conversation you and I had, because I said I look like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we analyze the amateur line, the athletes that they go on regional, not so much as pro qualifier, because in the pro qualifiers, especially abroad, you get the best of the best athletes down there that they are almost touching the pro card. But on a regional show, the lines that you see, we all fit better fit model than bikini, let's be honest. So whoever says that this category is for girls that they don't train that hard, or they don't want to diet that hard, or they are not ready to push to get to what bikini is, well, you are just completely wrong, because we kind of all amateurs are in this kind of base, unless you are like placing first in your category and a pro qualifier and going on an overall and missing the overalls. If you are not there, you probably more on the fit model side. Because to be honest, even maybe I'm exaggerating it a bit more, but I think the girls that place in a pro qualifier into the top 5, those are the ones that they are bikini. Let's be honest.
And I feel like when it comes to like, there's a lot of amateurs who are like top lines out there that, like you said, are pretty much touching the pro card. But when it comes to the UK regionals, especially, the girls are not massive. They're not. Like, you put the girls in the like, including me. You put me next to a bikini pro. I've still got fucking years to go of growing, because I'm nowhere near the size that the pro girls actually are. People don't realise.
That's why my my mentality flipped so much when I went to Alicante, because that was a massive reality check about what they want. Because obviously we are here, we go to regionals, we go to other small federations, and you see the level, which, don't get me wrong, the level is good, but then when you go to a pro qualifying where actually the girls are competing to 10 pro, like, and you see the level, you think, gosh, this is not a little regional, this is, you know, this is a big thing. And that's why I wanted to take the time off, because I know I needed it. But yeah, so basically that's one of the things. I would like people not be so impulsive and start talking crap or something that they don't really know. And as I spoke in another podcast about this, we mustn't forget that the IFBB is a business, and it's people wanting to make money, is a lot of sponsors behind it. And if it's less people competing, or less women wanted to compete in the pro lines as a bikini because they don't want to do things, then they're losing money.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, it's a businessman trying to do business, and he thinks fit model is going to sell more somehow. And you know, I think it's a good vision, because it's going to bring people that stop competing in, women that stop competing in, and all the girls are going to be considering this. And then girls in the amateur lines, like me, for example, we're going to have chances to actually become pro in a different category that fit us better.
And I think as well, it's a good push for like natural federations, natural shows, because it's more achievable natural. Because, like, let's be real, bikini became not attainable naturally, to be honest. If you look at the top lines, if you
Yeah.
can achieve that naturally, then fuck me, you're a god, genetic.
Yeah, that's why it's not so many people that they can do it. And also, it's like, if you have to blast as an amateur yourself in gear because you can't achieve to be a pro without it, when you become a pro, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
The problem with this is like, this category fit model is gonna be very achievable to do it without gear, but it's a lot of people that will take it anyway. And then if the judges don't stick to the criteria and to what they want, it will happen exactly the same.
That's
But
another point that I was saying the other day to you. It's like, it's all right saying, oh, bikini came out of hand, so we're bringing back fit model to bring, you know, the old bikini. But then how many years is it going to take for the fit model to escalate as much as bikini did? Because you know
yeah,
it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. It's like, there's going to be girls who will still blast it and go out as a fit model, and for some reason they will win, and then that all of a sudden that's going to be a new criteria for the fit model, and then the cycle just starts again.
yeah,
So I think it is one of them that, like, we need to wait and actually see more shows, see how it all evolves and see how it goes,
yeah,
especially
exactly.
UK shows as well. That will be interesting.
Yeah, it's very early days, because I was talking with my posing coach, you know, when this first show in America has come. And to be honest, I was a bit like disappointed with the kind of athletes and the look. But then she said, remember something, this category is very new, and it's got the entire year to evolve. Then she said also, they did this show, but normally the season never start until after the Arnold. So I think the people will come more prepared for this category after the Arnold. So
Yeah,
I think from now to end of the season in December, November, December, we're gonna see a big
yeah,
difference in how it look the first show and how the last show will look.
definitely.
Or that's what I hope as well. So
And I think as well, like, because they announced it quite early on in the year, not many people were prepared to actually prep. So I think,
exactly.
yeah, so I think from the middle of this year, I think that's where you're going to start seeing more and more, and then you get a better idea, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree. That's why the look I want to bring is as closer as the picture of Ashley I can, because that's what they base the category on. So in my head, the closer you get to that, the better. I may be completely wrong, so we will find out in a few months. So more icks. Um, Obviously the coaches has to come into the play. Um, I There is something that annoys me a lot, and is the people who they think they know it all. Let's be honest, no one knows it all. Like, and yeah, I know you have to sell your business, and and that's fine, but sometimes I read certain things on Instagram that I don't know from where they've made it up from. You can be advising about things that you are not documented it properly. Like when they say, oh, this is research for bodybuilders. Well, where did you do your research from? What are your resources? Where are your evidence base? Where are your references? So I actually can have a look to where you have documented yourself. But also, when you ask a question, someone that knows something doesn't attack you.
Mm-hmm.
But I see myself sometimes in where I've asked a simple question or I said something I know, and then I've been answered back with an attack. And it's like, first of all, I haven't attacked you. Like, I'm just asking. And if you don't know, you don't need to attack me. You just have to say, I don't know. But I feel everyone in this bodybuilding wall are ready to bite. You don't see many coaches saying, oh, I don't know this, but I'll have a look and I'll let you know.
Which that will show me more credibility. Because like there's been things I asked you or Simon that wasn't like necessarily prep related or anything like that, but it was in a sense. And you was open with me. You said, I don't know, but let me have a look.
Yeah, if I don't know, I don't know. And it may happen that I haven't got the answer because, yes, I've got medical training. I
But
do.
the difference is you say you don't know and you go out and you do your research when it comes to like, your medical side of stuff or bodybuilding, whatever. You come back to me with what you found out. You don't just bullshit an answer out of it.
But also, it's like things like, yeah, I may have medical knowledge, but I'm not an endocrinologist. So the people who play with like hormones and things like that, I don't have the in-depth knowledge to fully know how the things some people take act. I can have a base because at the end of the day, people take stuff in bodybuilding to have an impact on the way they look. But I don't think people have a real understanding of what is the impact that that drug have inside you, because those drugs are not made to make you look good, are made for a certain pathology. And then the side effect that they've got obviously is like in a woman, if you take certain kind of drugs, you are inducing yourself male puberty. It's exactly what you're doing. So unless you really have a proper qualification to understand how those drugs fully work, but also the pathways that those drugs works in and the channels that they use, you don't really understand. Yeah, it does that in your body and you're gonna look that way, but a part of that, you don't really know much in depth. And that's one of the things that really annoys me that you see on Instagram. Recently, I've seen this page on Instagram that is basically young kids, because they are young kids, talking about drugs, and they are charging £30 for a phone consultation about enhancement. And it's like, you don't even know in depth what you're doing and you are advising. And the thing is, as a professional, is very frustrating because there are people like doctors, for example, or GP. I'm not going to include myself because I don't prescribe really, but really got a lot of responsibility if they prescribe for a bite something wrong, to the point that they can lose their careers. And then you've got these coaches with 22 years old telling someone what to take and telling what to expect from that drug. So I don't know, it was a chat recently on in America saying that they want to regulate the coaches, and they will have to pay $1,000 to stay in the coaches registration. It
Yeah,
was a lot to talk about that.
because I think nowadays, yeah, anyone can wake up one day and decide to be a coach. Especially the people that's done a season or two of bodybuilding, they've done well. Even if they've done shit, they're still gonna come out and they'll be like, yes, I'm a coach now, let me coach people. When in reality, they just followed their coach's plan. You know what I mean? So it's like the responsibility of it should be on them. Because like if I wake up tomorrow and I'll be like, yeah, I'm a coach tomorrow, and then I get a client and I tell her to take XYZ, and then she fucking dies 2 days later, there's nothing on me. I know that takes it to the extreme, but this is literally how it is. Even when it comes to training and to the diet, if you do it incorrectly, some people can harm themselves. And other than, you feeling guilty, there's nothing by law against you that you told them to do it.
Yeah, because to put someone on a diet, you need to know about nutrition,
Exactly.
And there are people out there, like it was there are people out there with heart problems that you don't know, like, and there are coaches telling people, oh, you should take that. But what happens if that person has got a congenital heart disease? Like you don't really know unless you have like a full consultation in what But actually, even if you say, oh no, you will be fine, no, you can kill someone with a heart problem, like a congenital heart disease, if you give them steroids or you give them growth hormone, because then the heart will get bigger and the condition, it will, eventually can get worse. They can get akinetic chambers in the heart, like a lot of things. So I was on there, I was talking with Simon about that, and I thought, what, I think I would agree. Because if you are a good coach and your business is running, you would be able to pay that and stay in the registration. And then at least if something happened to an athlete, you will have somewhere to complain to.
Yeah, I agree. Being
It
like
should be regulated. You need to have certain education, because to be honest, it's a lot of thick people out there coaching people. And I'm sorry, it's not that I think and the best out there, because I'm not. I'm still learning certain things, and you have to know that what it works in someone else's body, it might not work in yours, and you have to be able to spot those things. You need to be able to spot when something is wrong or something is not working, but you have to have a basic knowledge. And it's honestly, it infuriates me that people completely uneducated are coaching.
Yeah.
Is one of the things that I would say annoys me more in this world. And yeah, I knew when I went into bodybuilding, I knew what I was getting into, because let's be honest, bodybuilding is known for gear blasting. It's been since, that's how the big bodybuilders has become, because the people go and watch. That's what the people want to watch, the big bodybuilders, But for the little categories, like little, let's call it little, it doesn't need to be that, especially for beginners. You don't need to blast a beginner in year. It's got so many more years that you can achieve naturally until you have to get to that point. And as a coach, you should know that. Especially kids with 17 years old, like the liver, especially in males, don't fully develop until they are in between 21 and 25 years old. the girls will develop a bit quicker, but actually the liver doesn't finish fully developing and growing until you are 21, 25, in that range. And the liver controls a lot of things. It's not like digestive hormones and enzymes. Like, the liver controls the clotting cascade of your body. So the clotting is like all the factors that makes your blood thrombolize, like clotting, like literally clotting, the platelets, all that is regulated by the liver. So if you take in something that potentially can make your liver fatty, or can making it grow it, or inflamed, all those things that haven't developed properly just yet are going to be impacted. And yeah, you may take the bloods and your panel may be okay, but the reason that your bloods have come okay doesn't mean that everything inside you is okay. That's why, like, the top range athletes, they get ultrasound every now and then, and they get ECGs done, and all those things, because the blood is just a part of the battle. Sorry, I'm getting very
Keep going. Keep going.
But the bloods can give you a guide, but that doesn't mean that everything in you is fine, especially when you are taking things as growth hormone. If you're taking growth hormone, you definitely should be getting your organs checked.
And that seems to be a popular one as well.
Yeah, like, but do you think, like, all of a sudden, how many times I see on Instagram, like, the progress pictures, and it's almost like, I mean, the progress pictures are amazing on everyone, but you can see the difference and the effort the people has put in it. I'm not trying to say they haven't trained, because they have, but when you can see that the cheeks has grown, the jaw has grown, even your nose has grown, you're doing something else in there.
Yeah. And you know, another thing that pisses me off is people who are obviously enhanced, but they don't train hard enough. And I know everyone's got different capabilities and everything, but like, you see people posting videos, and like, I'm not saying I'm the strongest in the fucking world, but I do push some weights compared to my weight, and I always aim to every single session I go into. And then you see people, especially women, posting some videos, and I'm not shitting on anyone's strength or anything like that, but with how much progress they're making compared to the videos when they're lifting the top sets and there's barely any weights on it and the reps are just half reps, and I'm just thinking, like, you are on something very high, to say the least, if you're making that much progress not lifting the weights, like, you know, not progressing in the weights side as well of it.
Yeah, I think I listened to a podcast, I think it was, and it was from a coach that it was talking about enhancement. And he said, when you are enhanced, you mustn't forget to train like a natural.
Yeah. And I can tell you now, I'd say you have to train harder when you're enhanced. You have to, like, as a natural, you have to train hard as fuck anyway. But you have to keep into consideration that you are natural, and, like, you need to get the recovery in, and you need to know when to stop, because, like, you could potentially make more harm than actually progress.
Yeah, but it's the only thing that the natural people have is literally the diet, in bulking or whatever, the food, and the training. Because they don't do the thing.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, like, when you become enhanced, it's more, you have to push yourself even harder. You have to train even harder to actually put that into use. Because it's not like, a lot of people think, oh, enhanced will make it easier because I've got this going in for me. Whereas, in fact, you recover faster, so you have to push even more.
You should be training more, because your range of recovery is better, and because you're recovering better, you should be pushing yourself more.
You should be getting stronger and actually pushing yourself even more. Whereas a lot of people, I feel like they don't realise that, they don't do that.
Yeah, because they think, oh, if I don't do this rep, doesn't matter, I'm assisted. Yeah. I will lose muscle. that's the mentality. That's why it's not that I'm against it. It's like the wrong people
We're
are
going
taking.
to this. Again.
So I think that is about another ick that I would say. Um, I don't know. The thing is a lot of things like, for example, Instagram. As much as I do use it, because I do use it a lot and I like my stories, but it's a lot of things of Instagram I would just, you know, people that message you with very random stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, we are making ourselves public as well, so we are like tend to get more these comments. But yeah, like sometimes people say on Instagram things that they wouldn't tell you on your face.
Me and Instagram have got beef going, so let's not go into that one. Because that just fucking frustrates the yeah. So yeah.
Say it. Come on, and spit it out, because otherwise it's just gonna be me.
It's just we spoke about it like constantly. So like I go through phases where I want to grow my Instagram and I put effort into making the post, making the reels, making all of that. The engagement goes up and then all of a sudden it drops. And then all of a sudden my account can't be recommended because of sexual, explicit, nudity, all of that. Which is fair enough if it wasn't the case of me opening my feed and all you see is OnlyFans accounts showing everything, and that's okay. And then obviously recently,
Everything is how they show it, because you know
exactly,
the video I sent it yesterday to you, in what that was very explicit, like
exactly. And even with the recent photo shoot that I did, that's more explicit and sexual than my check-in pictures. My check-in pictures is just me posing, bikini posing, and they get shadow banned. They get flagged up. But then none of my pictures from the actual shoot was flagged up. None of them.
I just don't understand how they pick. I have to say I haven't had that problem, but I don't really well, I don't know, sometimes I do post stories, you know, with the glutes and stuff, which it would be considered, but I don't have that problem. I don't
No.
know if I post something more explicit, I would. What I have noticed is my engagement is crap. So yeah, I don't get many engagement on my account all of a sudden. I don't really know why. It's not that I had much in it, but also I've
Yeah.
if I post, for example, a reel posing or anything like that, I'll have like 400 views and maybe 14 likes. But
Because
it's like
people,
400 people watching it.
yeah. For me, it's more like story views as well because I don't understand. I don't understand how it all goes. Like I tried to go through a phase where I was looking at the tips and how to grow your social media and all of that, and nothing worked for me. If anything, it made my engagement drop down. And then most of my stories, they don't reach up to like 200 views maybe on the stories. Like my reels and my posts are fine, but again, they go from 500 to 3,000. Like there's no in between. It's either doing really well or it's really bad.
Okay, bad.
Yeah, when it comes to my stories, they come like 200 is like your average viewing. But then one day I'll wake up and there's like 400-500 views on my story, and it's nothing special. It's nothing, and it's like I just don't understand how the algorithm work.
Also, no, I don't understand it either, but I've realized when you when you talk the ways that the things are,
People don't like you.
yeah, so Instagram doesn't either straight away. And because I notice if you do a post vomiting rainbows all the time and being the happiest and the most positive ever, then that's fine. But as soon as you like moan a little bit, it's like then suddenly you drop
You
everything.
don't
And
exist.
it's like I'm sick of this fake stuff. No one No one can be that happy all the time. It's impossible. And that doesn't mean you are a negative person or you are not positive, but that's how human beings are. We get annoyed, we get sad, we get angry, we get happy, we get excited. It's we are all those things. So when all this coaching business and everything, and not just coaching, like people selling this love and positivity and consistency and all that, yes, but you have to have a balance, and you need to let people put those things out as well. So complaining is fine. And then in the other hand, we've got all those posts about mental health. So you need to put the things clear, because if you don't express yourself the way it is and you're faking it all the time, you're going to end up with mental health problems. But at the same time, you don't want someone with mental health telling their things, because it's not pretty. So make it up. You want one thing or you want the other.
That's why I've given up on Instagram. I've given up on trying to grow it. I'm just being me, and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and even another thing about mental health, I'm gonna tell you, that annoys me. I deal with a lot of mental health problems, like in my job, like I do. But it's something I've learned from all this year. Mental health shouldn't be an excuse for anyone to be a dickhead. Because
Exactly.
it's two different things. So you shouldn't blame that you are a bad person or you've treated really bad someone or based on your mental health. That's not how it works. And that's what we allow into. So this mental health thing is going too bad because it's actually excusing people who are actually bad people, women, men, call it that way, not just one gender.
What about the chairs and the tables? You didn't include them, and the cats and the dogs. You have to be inclusive, Olga. It's 2025.
Yeah. But that doesn't excuse them to be dickheads anyway, either. So, every time I see that, I'm becoming less and less sympathetic, because it's like, do you really? Because also, normally the people who suffers of mental health, you wouldn't really know it. And it's the same in bodybuilding. It's something that as well annoys me. That is like, the people who has been in bodybuilders for years, they take gear, they do training, they do this, they do that. But it's a lot of people with drug addictions that comes into the sport because it's the perfect excuse for them to take stuff. So they come, and rather than ask about training, about nutrition, the first thing they ask is what they're gonna take. And it's like, hang on a minute, we haven't even put a plan of training in place and a diet. Let's do this first, and then if you want, we move to not me, because I don't coach that way, but then you move the next bit. No, they want to take that. And if you give them that, they're gonna end up another mixing the things. And then you realize that they have been taking stuff behind what other coaches have told them to do. So you actually don't want to bodybuild. You are just using it to excuse that you've got a drug addiction problem. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this gear stuff is going so out of hand, not because of bodybuilding itself. It's not because of bodybuilding itself, because bodybuilding has been bodybuilding since, years ago. But this problem that I'm talking about is coming more.
People, bodybuilders and taking stuff is one thing. There's a lot of people out there that just take shit just for the sake of taking it.
Yeah,
and they go out partying and everything. They don't have a coach. They just take shit just for the sake of taking it, and then they're surprised because they're not getting the results they want, but they're blasting the wrong stuff or too much or not enough, and they're not training for what they're taking. They just take it. It's so common at the no.
Because the consistency is also the key, because if you're gonna be taking stuff for it to work, you have to be consistent with your training, especially consistent with your diet. And then that, if you every now and then I'm gonna have a long break of that, then you are not really a bodybuilder despite of you compete or not. You are just taking a stuff because you want to take a stuff because you are a drug addict. And I'm sorry I'm coming this blunt, but it's my point of view. And we see it like from stories of other coaches, for things I hear, for things that you see on Instagram. The people who come and join any kind of coaching, and the first thing they ask for is that you don't want to bodybuild. It's as simple as that. And that really annoys me a lot. All this fakeness around it, in where you cannot talk clean, because if you don't talk happy, like I said, like vomiting rainbows all the time, then you are out the clique. Because let's be honest, bodybuilding is got a clique, and either you are in or you are out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you have to do when you are in, and not even that is going to reassure you that you're going to be likable. But sometimes, you would expect that the girls that they do really well in shows are the ones that they are posted, the girls that they are pro in the lines and all that. But then you see sometimes random people that you don't even know who they are, but they are posting it like everywhere in different famous business in this country, and you think like, well, obviously I'm not likable, because it's like you have to have a particular thing, or being the friend of, and I'm talking it here because we all know what I'm talking about. I could say names and name brands, but I'm not really gonna do it, because I'm honest, but I don't want to barrier myself either. But we all know what I'm talking about. And if you are likable to that particular people, then fine. So it shows that this is a business, the industry, the federations, because you are picking who you think is sellable for you, not really who does it better. So the people who are complaining back again about this category, you should stay quiet, because you're doing exactly the same. So, but anyway, yeah, that is, yeah,
Yeah.
as I said, what I'm saying in here, I'm not trying to be right. I'm just giving my opinion from my point of view.
But we're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to have your own opinion.
Oh, no, but, at this point, I'm not likable anyway, so,
I know, and I think that's why we get on so well as well, because there's no bullshit around this. And like
Yeah,
I've said it before, my circle's so small because I just don't give a fuck about people anymore. And I've been like that. The last few months has been worse than before, and I spoke to you. It's just can't be bothered to talk. It takes like I just can't be bothered with the small talks. I can't be bothered with pretending like I like you. I can't be bothered to be interested in the conversation. It's just like I would rather just isolate myself and just let me be, because I
yeah.
just can't be bothered with the bullshit.
So it's also depending on the conversation you're having, If you've got a friend, because friendship should be something that I tell you something, you tell me something, and it's bi-directional. And then when you need me, I'm here. When I need you, you're there. But when
But
something
then
is,
you don't take it personal. If I don't reach out to you in like 2 weeks' time or within my check-in, it doesn't matter. You don't take it personal.
no,
Whereas there are
I'm
people,
asking if you okay.
yeah, but that's okay. But there are people who are just gonna take it personal. They're like, "Oh, you've not messaged me in a couple of days' time, so fuck you." I'm like, okay, fuck you back.
Yeah,
I
but
don't care.
like it's people as well that they don't want your friendship. They want someone to be a clapper. I call it, that's something that we say in Spain. I'm not gonna be clapping your way, because that's not what friendship is for. I mean, I clap you when you need to be clapped, but you don't need to be clapped 24/7. And if you do, you've got a problem of
There's
attention.
people,
Because
there's people out there that are very delusional, and they think they are more than what they actually are, and it pisses me off when you don't hear from a person to see how you doing or whatever. Fine, I don't care, but then you reach out to me because you've done this and this. Okay, good for you, but why am I meant to be there to clap for you?
I think, as I said, it should be bi-directional, because if it would be bi-directional, you already would know all those things. You would have already congratulated. The other person would know how you're doing. It's like, that's the problem with this world. At the end of the day, bodybuilding is a very selfish sport, and it makes you focus on yourself. So you need to remain very truthful to yourself to not fall in that hole, because it's very easy to fall
The
in that
thing
hole
is,
of attention.
it's
It's easy.
only selfish if you make it selfish. I
Yeah.
know it's selfish in the terms of putting the attention into yourself when you're in prep and all of that, but when it comes to people around you, you don't have to be selfish with them people. It's just the kind of people that are around you that you're going to be very picky with who you're going to bring in.
I think it's because I've been posing with Chris Pajares for so long, and for me to have conversations on weekly basis with an IFBB pro has shown me a lot of things. So I know Chris hasn't been on a stage in a couple of years because she had a car accident. He couldn't go to the Olympia, because she did qualify in 2023 to go to the Olympia, but she won the Miami show, so she did qualify to go. And but she had a car accident and she couldn't go. And then her mom became ill, so it's been a couple of things that she couldn't help. But she's been in the Olympia 5 times, so that's a fucking achieve. If you have been able to be in the Olympia 5 times and qualified for a 6th one. So when I hear this woman talking, and I see how humble she is, it makes me think how someone that is been 5 times in the Olympia and he's been there and he's won pro shows and he's earned money and he's got sponsors from Excited Nutrition, and he's a Nivea sponsored her as well. And she's just a normal woman. She goes to the gym, she's got her clients, she's got her job aside in where she has to go, and then she's got time to talk to me, to advise me, but not in a critic way. She wants me to be better, but also what amazes me the most is like she thinks she can do better.
You know what? That's the thing. The most successful people, they are the most humble people, and then you get people who achieved fuck all, and they think that they are
That's
the asshole.
that's why, when I hear her talking and the way she does talk to me, and not just to me, to any of her girls, and the way she tells me about to enjoy, to be careful with this, to the love that she transmits to me. And I think that's why I keep loving this sport, I have to say, is because of her. Because every time we do a posing session, she makes me fall in love with this sport again, despite of this all bullshit. Because I believe there are genuine people still in this sport, despite of how successful they are. And it shows also that success shouldn't really make you or transfer you into a different person. If you are, let's put it, if you are selfish, you're gonna be a selfish person despite of winning or losing. You know what I mean? But if you are
Yeah.
humble, you're gonna be humble despite of winning or losing. Do you
But it's
know?
like we spoke about it before as well. It's like you know we piss off a lot of people sometimes with our opinions, and we see it on our stories and posts and whatever. We get backlash from it, but it's always people who are nobody. The nobodies always have something to say, and it comes from, you know, I feel like it comes from them just not wanting you to succeed in certain ways. But then when you
Yeah,
speak to
yeah,
someone,
100%,
yeah,
100%. It's always,
You
it's,
know.
it's also like, for example, the other day I did a post about this kind of use. So you get someone and you make friends because they consider in this that they're here and you're there. So for you to go up here is not a threat because you're here, so we can be friends. You are not a threat to me. But when that person is starting going up and they see that potentially can become a threat in the moment you're equal,
They
then
shit on you.
then that friendship is gone.
Mm.
So and that's the thing. I think the older I get, the more I realize that I don't really want to change who I am just to please someone else. I've done that when I was younger. I think we all have done it. And now that it's been a trend on Instagram to do this, I met my younger self, and which I hate, by the way, because every person doing I made the younger selves, they saying like they are the best right now and they were shit back then. But actually the way I see it is like, well, my younger self is the reason why I am in where I am now. So I would like to thank my younger self to do all the mistake she did and to be as silly as she was, because that gave me a massive lesson of, and I am the person who I am now. But actually, when I 45, probably the current self would be wrong in a lot of things, because that's life. You change. You are meant to change and evolve. So if you don't do it, you would have a problem. So obviously you are not going to be the same person that you were when you were young.
But it is the reason you are now the way you are.
Exactly. So, I just realized that I love this sport, and but I love it because of the sport itself and for what it makes me feel. And yeah, I go to shows. Sometimes I'll place, sometimes I won. Because let's be honest, when we compete, we all want to place. It's the aim. You want to compete because you want to place. That's your aim. But if you don't place, well, you will need to carry on working.
Instead of crying about it.
Yeah, and you can have a moan, because sometimes it's true that sometimes the judging in bodybuilding is a bit subjective. So sometimes you're gonna see, we see it on regular basis, that you think someone is gonna place and then someone else is taking, and you are like, what just happened? But but also when you get into this sport, and you have to know that that is gonna happen, and you have to know that maybe you've placed now, but you won't place maybe next week.
I think people need to learn how to lose.
Yeah, but it's like every single sport. It's not just bodybuilding. Sometimes, in football, your team will lose, your team will win. It's just another sport. You have to be able to take a lose to be able to progress. It's impossible to win always. Well, then you've got extraordinary people like Sebum. The people keep winning. But as I said about him or about tennis players, is always someone that suddenly appears and takes over. So, that's why you need to still working on yourself, and don't try to make you better putting others down, because it's not how it works.
Yeah.
That is my opinion. I've had enough, to be honest, and I would be lying if I said I haven't been hurt into this fitness industry, because I have, from other people. But you learn, you move on, and sometimes people tell things that they are very harmful. And yes, I felt it, but then you have to keep moving if you want to keep improving in every single way. And back in what you were saying, like keep it selective. I rather to have less than more. So if I have to get better people around me that actually are gonna support me on my way, truly, I'd rather to have 3 people around me than 15, to be honest.
And that's how it should be, I think. There's the more people you have around you, the more fake there is gonna be.
Mm. Oh,
And like you said, you think you're being friends and you think they're being supportive until you level up, and that's when they try to put you down to make themselves feel better.
yeah,
And
it's like the same with the posing. I'm gonna say it here because it's something I wanted to tell for a while, but I haven't. But for whoever is listening to me, I had received messages from different women in this sport that I've never met as a friend or have a coffee with. No one is but never been interested in meet me as a person. But then the season is approaching and all of a sudden they want to train with me when in the last 5 years no one has really approached me to train with me. And it's funny that people that they are messaging me to train with me, they've got always something in common, that they want to train in someone with a studio so we can pose together at the end. So you don't want to pay me because apparently I'm not good enough to be your posing coach. But however, you want me to give you tips for free with a fake friendship, meeting me for a training, making me think that you want to be my friend when all you want is a free posing session from me, but you wouldn't pay me because I'm not good enough. I'm not a big posing coach in the industry out there. I'm kind of fed up with that. And for whoever is listening or is going to listen, if you're one of those person, I'm not going to train with you. If you want to pose with me and you are not my friend or you are not one of the members of the team that the posing comes included, like you and Jem, honestly, if you are not going to pay it, don't even bother to message me because then these people are paying someone else, but they want the tips. Like, I know I post videos quite often about my posing, and I know who watches them because I see it. And then when they do check-ins, and I've seen that they've changed their posing, and it suddenly looks like the way Chris tells me to pose, I know they've been watching me because the way I pose is how Chris tells me to. So there are things I do that they are very specific, tiny little thing that Chris has told me to do. So when I see that and I spot that in someone else, I know, especially when I know they've been watching me.
But take it as a fuel. Take it as a fuel.
Yeah, no, I'll take it like positive. That means my posing is likable. But if you like it, why I'm not good enough for you for being your posing coach? That's my question.
I don't think it's even just that. I think people like it for free. And that was another reason why I left personal training, because it got to a point where, I would have a month with a girl on a session, and then after a month, instead of buying more sessions, she was like, "Oh, so can we train together?" What do you mean, can we fucking train together? I'm in prep for my next show. You just had 10 session proper newbie to a bod to the gym, and you want to train together now because you don't want to be spending money.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's exactly, if they want to do for free, then that's fine. But then when I see those people asking me to send videos or things like that, that 2 weeks down the line, they are paying someone, that's when I get critical.
Yeah.
Because if you've got the money to pay someone else, why don't you have the money to pay me? You are devaluating my job, and it's also the job that you're trying to copy. So
Yeah.
what is this? It's like I'm not famous enough out there to be your posing coach, and that's what annoys me.
That's the thing with bodybuilding and social media at the moment, though, isn't it? If
Because
you
also,
don't,
I'm gonna say something, and I don't care what the people think, but there are people out there as posing coach that they don't even know how to pose themselves.
but they've got the following and the name is out there,
Yeah,
and it goes with coaches as well. It
yeah,
goes with
that is
coaches as
true.
well.
That is true. It goes the other way.
There is a lot of good coaches out there. I'm not discrediting the good ones, but there's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
them that
yeah.
are well known that I don't know jack shit.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know, do you want to discuss any other ick of bodybuilding? Because I think we kind of
I
discussed
think
a
we've
lot.
got enough. I think we can continue on the next one.
We're gonna kind of close the body today because I think we've moaned a lot, both of us, and we have had capas. So we're gonna kind of talk about the next month podcast, and then we will bring one once a month, and that's more achievable. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do another box with questions that Claudia is gonna do. You're gonna do it because you are good with those things. And then we kind of collect
When I
prep
make it one.
show day questions, what you eat in a day questions, all those things, or more things about bodybuilding or personal stuff. If you want to do mindfulness, we can help you as well with that. So anything, and it could be for the next podcast.
Which we'll do next month, won't we?
Yeah. So from the winter Latina and from the summer Latina, that's been all for today. Bye.